Cow.
Cow.
Damn it, cow.
You know how many times he hears that?
Poor cow.
Poor guy. I don't want to say it.
Cow.
Am I playing? Is that me playing?
Kyle's playing it. Actually, my headphones.
All right, I'll put the mics on, all right? All right, bruv. Brother.
Category.com, beautiful disaster every Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. with Dutchie, the legendary punk DJ, myself, Kat Monroe, Kyle back there in sound, and we have Bossfight live in studio. That was Merry Crisis. Oh, and that was a beer. Yeah. Last week we had a band in here and they were holding it under the table. I'm like, you don't have to do it quietly. Hold it up to the mic. My God.
Be proud.
Yes, be proud. Yeah, but you guys are great. Good music.
Thank you very much. We worked really hard on that.
Yeah, you can tell. You can totally tell.
Lots of Adderall.
Is that what the secret is?
Yeah.
Part 2 of the show normally gets a little bit more, what's the word?
Loose.
Loose?
Yeah, there you go.
Honest.
That's when the truth serum starts working.
Yeah, I wish we could almost tell the bits. Get here an hour early and
then drink for an
4
hour.
or 5 beers
Yeah.
first. Because we're definitely going to hear more about, no, I'm not going to do that.
About what?
Here's the great thing. She comes back with the second half of the show after commercial. She doesn't even know she did it first half.
Yeah,
She thinks
sometimes.
this is the beginning of
It
the
is the
show.
beginning.
Welcome
Yeah.
back, Kat.
Yep. Thank you.
Not welcome back, just fucking welcome to the show.
Hey, I didn't take a week break though.
You didn't?
No,
What the fuck?
because I don't normally drink beer.
do that anyway.
Why are you drinking beer?
Because it's here.
There's wine in there if you want to go.
It's too late now. I've already got
Yeah,
beer.
that's true. Yeah, don't touch my wine.
Nope.
She's drinking it in, that's a beer glass.
It's a glass.
It's a
Yeah.
It's a
utility.
brandy glass.
It's a utility glass.
No such thing.
Beer in a
Every
brandy
glass in the
glass.
world is
Yeah,
utility.
yeah.
So no, it's a great fucking album. Again, you are the most serious band we've ever had in the studio as far as wanting to be professional musicians, if I put it that way. Where are you at now? You did 20 years with Guitar Center. That's a fucking long fucking...
That is a long time.
Yeah, I thought I was going to retire there. It was so much fun. Working there was so much.
Was it all of a sudden that you?
Well, they went from a public institution to be traded on Wall Street, where we all took in the success. I mean, store managers were getting stock options, and they really invested in their people, which created a buy-in from everybody. And then when you go private, the game changes.
It's an easy concept, isn't it? When in reality, but it's just not bought into.
Right. And when private equity, it doesn't matter who it is. Bain Capital bought Guitar Center. They literally, just like how you can take a second mortgage out on your house, they literally go and take a mortgage out on the company, on the value of the company, and that's the only reason why they buy the company, is so that way they buy it on credit. So it's like you had this credit card. Imagine you had a credit card for $2 billion.
You buy a company on credit if you
Yes.
have enough credit.
Yes. So So think
So
about.
if I didn't screw up my credit when I was 20 years old, I could
well,
buy
these are
somebody.
these are the richest of the richest, right? So you're talking about the Blue Bloods, you know, the Skull and Bones Society, you know, all of these conspiracy folks. So you got Bain Capital, who is Mitt Romney, right? So his group of super rich people, they all throw in a portion of their money. That's a write-off anyway, which is hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and they say, okay, so we're going to buy with this $500 million. We're going to take out a line of credit. We're going to put a down payment on this business, whatever business it is, and we're going to get a loan to buy the business for $2 billion. And then we're going to take that business that now we own it, and we're paying a monthly payment, just like a car or anything else. And then we're going to take it and we're going to squeeze all the value from it. We're going to cut 20 of your employees out because that money drops to the bottom line. That money saves.
Because they need their private jets, dude.
Well, it's more than that. Like on top of that, they get a management fee for managing the business, right? So and they right. So
Hang on a minute, hang on a
I
minute.
get it.
That
Yeah,
makes
they
no
keep it
fucking
all in a
sense
little
to me.
circle, so it just
It does.
goes up,
It
like making a
does.
snowball. You push a snowball, it's
But
more
if
and
I
more.
buy a
and more.
business, I want it to be successful. I
Right.
want to make money.
What's their
from it.
motto? Their
But
business,
what
their
they do
business
is-
model is all messed up.
but I'll tell you
They don't-
why,
they don't
because
put the
exactly.
employee first.
Mm-mm.
Or the consumer. They don't put the consumer or the employee first.
So how do
They're
you-
looking
It's
at
greedy.
numbers. They're looking at a number game the whole time. They're just
Yeah.
looking at numbers. They're not looking at, okay, well, if we took care of Gilly here, you know, we're going to get more production out of him. You know, if he's happy, if he's a happy employee, he's going to be a productive employee. They don't give a shit. They're going to squeeze you. Because their bosses are getting squeezed by the guy ahead of them, and so on and so on, right?
Basically.
It was a fun job though.
Until they went private, and
Right.
and what happens is it's just like anything else. You know, you're worried about your job more than you're worried about somebody else's job. No matter how. I mean, they were my family.
Yeah.
20 years. Like
I'm 21 years in at Home Depot right now.
right. So you know
Yeah.
these. Like a good brother of mine actually went to Home Depot. His name's Brian Thorpe, and he's a store manager up in Westlake Village, up in North LA.
Yeah.
But he was a regional vice president of Guitar Center. He oversaw the entire West Coast. Again, you know, the guy, you know, when you work for 20 years for a company, you make a lot of money, you know.
Yeah.
Right? So try taking that away, and what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. What do you do? I wouldn't know where to start. If I was out of work from then tomorrow, I wouldn't know where to go.
So we're
Pick up my fucking trowel again and start laying concrete and bricks.
and we're all tasked with starting over. You know, so people choose their path. I chose music.
So, going back to the original question, because we kind of got sidetracked on that. Where are you guys at now? As far as how close are you? You good?
Yes.
Was that more beer?
I had to go to the restroom.
Sounded like
I
you
didn't
were
go
going
during
just there.
Should
Um,
replenish her bladder.
Reload.
Are you 50% in at being a full-time musician? Are you 25%?
I don't-
Are you a full-time musician?
I think I don't think looking at it that way is the right way to look at it. What I think is we're trying to be the best we can be, so that way when the opportunity arises, we can make the best out of that luck. Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness, right? So we're prepared. We're prepared if a record label comes to us. You know what you see on that, what you hear on that record, we can play that live, and
And some.
And, you know.
We even add more to our.
That's good.
right.
We give you a little something that you don't hear on that album at our live show. We created some really cool interludes and stuff to tie in the songs in between that you don't hear on that album.
Like the very first track, you mean backing tracks and shit like that?
No.
No?
We
Music.
wrote with music.
Yeah,
Music is a
we
band.
wrote extra parts that link
Yeah.
from the end of one song into the
That's
beginning.
and then people want to go see you live because
Dave,
of music, and I hear
yeah.
that. Yeah.
He bust out his slide on
Ooh.
a couple songs.
Yeah, it's talk box. I
At the
use
end
all
of
the
the,
stuff.
That's cool.
at the end of one of these songs, we bust through this whole slide thing that you don't hear on the album. And it's incredible. It's really cool.
There's certain parts we don't stop playing for quite a while. So
You
There's
like
no
that's like a
awkward
jam
silence.
thing. Oh, that's
there's
cool.
nothing in between songs. It goes from one song into the next, into the next, into the next.
And you've obviously spent time working on that the same way you would work on songs.
Yeah.
You're not just getting up there and playing a song and finishing and then ad-libbing some,
It's not the
Some-
motherfucking Grateful Dead up there. If that's
you know.
No,
No, you know, I wouldn't
That's
go
okay.
with that.
we
but-
want to.
Okay.
We want to make
But
it
you're
a show.
creating a show.
We want to.
Yeah.
We want to make it a show.
You gotta
We
add
want-
value
we wanna
wherever
have
you can.
something-
Yeah.
We want the people. We want to impact the people that are there.
You know, back in
We
the
want them to
90s.
feel it. We want them to think. Remember it.
Early 90s, I used to go watch the metal bands, and there were metal bands that they would like Queensryche and stuff. There's stuff you would hear if you went to see them
My
live.
dad played with them.
Really?
His band did. Yeah, he was back in I think the '90s. He was in a band called United States.
Okay, yeah.
He got played on KCAL and stuff, and then they played a show.
I
with
had a little
Queens-
hairband phase, yeah.
They played a show with Queensryche.
Yeah.
I remember going up on the stage.
But those bands like that, they would do that kind of stuff. You'd go specifically to their concert because it's stuff you're
It's an
not going to
experience.
see you hear on their CD
Yeah.
or see on MTV or anything else.
Right.
Only way you'd see it is right there live.
And that's what we kind of wanted to do, because that's most people they'll just play on, and I've seen bands that I love, and I'm like, it just sounds like the album. It's not like I've even gone and seen bands play live that I loved, and they just played at Click, and everything's perfect, but there's no sense of now. There's no sense of being in the moment and really embracing where the fuck we're at now. And,
Yeah, the
and-
excitement.
I can't
Yeah,
stand
the-
a fucking band who plays their song the way it's fucking.
Yeah,
Can't stand it. If that's all they do.
Well, no,
I can't stand-
sometimes there are bands like Dirty
they all have
Hammer.
their place,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but I can't. No, I'm talking about different. I'm talking about going to see a show, right? I'm going to see, and
Oh,
I was just going to get to that because there's a big fucking difference from being a punk band, right? Who goes out there and
Yeah.
fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, and then you fucking give the audience some shit, and you fucking give each other some shit, and then you bang out your next tune 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was going to ask you about that when you're doing this, that the crossover between the genres is huge, right? And the question I was going to ask you, and it just reminded me is, so what do you think of Green Day? Because that's exactly what they've fucking done over the last 25 years. They've created a show from being a fucking 3-minute song punk band.
Well, they're fucking.
I think it's absolutely great. They've figured out how exactly the right formula to write a song to keep people engaged. And I mean, over the years, their stage show it's impressive. I haven't seen them live in a really long time, but I mean,
Or maybe themselves as artists too, like maybe they want to keep growing as artists.
I think it's
Maybe they
I think
get
it's great.
sick of what they're doing and they want to make something refreshing.
They don't want to get
play.
bored or they
Yeah, they
people
gotta
get
play
bored.
that
Yeah.
shit over and over and over.
And they do what works for them.
Yeah.
They went down the that they went that whole British pop punk avenue, which works for them. We are more of a rock and roll, heavy metal, influence, or more so than we are, Stiff Little Fingers. We're more Iron Maiden than we are Stiff Little Fingers. But at the same time, at the core, punk is where we are. Is where we derive our main.
Would it
Influences, right?
would it hurt a band though? Does it hurt a band? Could it hurt a band? If
Yeah.
when we put your CD in and the genre that pops up, because you obviously have a say when you create a CD, right? What genre is going to come up when someone puts that in there? So, are you considered, and this is not you, but this is in general, are you considered a punk band, and do you get put into that category and therefore stop people listening to you?
That's exactly what we don't want. And that's when you asked a similar question earlier. That's kind of why I hesitated. We don't want to be known as just a punk band, and Dave kind of mentioned it. We want our music to cross genres. We want the guy that listens the kid that listens to Metallica,
You know, we put in a
likes
box,
the
yeah.
Offspring like us, but might like some electronica too. I mean, kids these days, what they listen to is all over the place.
Mhm.
They don't have except for punks.
That's
Punks
why there's
punks
so
are
many
really,
genres,
really
yeah.
set in. I like punk. When you're young, you're like a punk. I like punk. The only thing that's good is punk.
And when you're old. I
I
mean, no. If you put metal, if I put your CD in, it says you're metal, I'm probably going to reject it.
Right. So
Me,
we
just me.
Yeah.
But
we say punk
What
rock.
if it says rock and roll? That you
Punk rock.
no one ever says rock and roll anymore. It doesn't say rock and
There's
roll.
no
It says rock,
rock?
or it says alternative, or it says punk or it says country or
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean,
So, yeah.
it's we put maybe you put under genre fuck you.
Yeah.
Listen to the fucking album.
That's
No,
kind of
how
where
about
we're at.
no? Just N-O for genre. Yeah, no.
That's kind of where we're at, because you don't want to be a band that's trying to
It's true though,
do
yeah.
this for a living. You don't want to be just a punk band.
Yeah, because you won't, there's not enough in that market. If you look at markets, that market will
That's the worst one in the world to be in. Punk,
What?
fuck, you ain't there. How many rich punks are there?
The only guys
Well,
in it that are
there's a
making
few.
money
Wow.
are the guys that grinded it out through the 80s. Those are the only guys left making money on this stuff. I mean, it's really hard for a young band to come into the punk genre and make money.
Yeah, nearly impossible. Yeah.
Which is why it's incumbent on us to transcend that one genre.
Plus, we like all kinds of music. Right?
Correct. More importantly,
I mean, we just
Yeah.
love music, and we
So more,
pigeonhole ourselves.
really more importantly, and going back to the roots, and this is my favourite question. What question am I going to ask? I want to know about the violence.
Oh yeah, Dutchie likes the
I
stories.
want to know. I mean,
Stories.
maybe there wasn't any.
We got
You know,
something for you.
At
but
shows or.
growing up in the mountains and coming down
Yeah, do you guys
here.
have backyard parties in the mountains?
fuck yeah,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
they're the best.
Because they have great fun.
Yeah, because no one calls the
Great
cops in
views.
the mountains, huh?
No,
No, not true.
When I
Oh,
was-
not true?
When I was a kid in the band, somebody threw a party, and we hijacked this really nice house on the lake. A nice
How? What do you
house.
mean hijacked?
Well, they all have power on their back decks.
And
So
someone
this,
was away for the
so
weekend.
this lake is, this is a lake house, $1 million house overlooking the lake, and we get, me and it was like my brother and some other kid, we had this band. And they paid us money, and they had a keg on this back of this deck, and we set up and we played.
There was no one living there. They were away for the
We
weekend.
didn't know that.
Oh,
We were just there
no.
playing, and it was raging, and then, luckily, I think we almost got through all of our songs. And the cops-
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Getting
Because
through
it
them
was kind of a
all.
lot of windy roads.
What
I don't think
happened?
they knew where it was coming from, because it's just like radiant,
Just looking through
all
the
the
fucking
sound.
trees.
Yeah, it's all just going out to the lake. Nobody knows where the fuck is that sound coming from. But yeah,
Someone's broken into someone's fucking patio.
yeah, quite a few times.
Was that what happened? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was fun.
Well, because a lot of those houses, they don't
Yeah.
turn their shit off, right? And then
No,
they
no.
only use them on the weekend or
vacation
every
house.
holiday.
Holiday, yeah.
Like,
Sometimes just twice a year.
Yeah, exactly,
If
yeah.
that sometimes. Yeah.
Did you guys deliberately scoping those fucking places out then? To try and,
I'm
like,
sure-
fuck it, next week, that's where we're fucking
We
playing.
did at the time, yeah. We had people do it for us.
Allegedly.
We were just.
Oh, that's the word right there. Allegedly. Yep. Yep. That's my favorite word. Allegedly.
It's like grunting, you have scouts that come up first.
I don't even
Talk
want
to
to go.
Kat about
No,
grunting.
we're not talking about grunion.
Tell them,
You're
tell
listening
them.
to chaoticradio.com.
I was gonna say one.
Disaster,
It's
Dutch and
Kat.
Legendary Punk DJ, myself, Cameron Rowe, Kyle back there. Bossfight live in studio. Yeah.
I like that. That was a good one. So
Wasn't
anyway,
it?
back to the grunting.
No! Give us a call, 909-360.
Boom. She goes running down the beach. Boom. Flat fucking right up. That was Becky's birthday, wasn't it?
Like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Just over a year ago.
I was
Yeah.
wasted.
And it was grunion time. And just a couple of nights before, you two had posted the video.
We went crazy.
Yeah.
And it was dark.
Baba Booey, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Baba Booey.
And I hadn't drank for a year and a half, and then someone decided to give me a shot of whiskey. Bad idea.
One shot of whiskey.
It was.
No, it was a bottle, Cat. It was a bottle.
No, it was
She
not.
didn't drink. She didn't eat at all that day.
Yeah, that too. That is true.
Well, if she hadn't eaten, I don't know what that was coming out. Whatever.
It was all wine that came back. That was bad.
Yeah, and there was. You went running down the beach, and there was one of those fucking low-hanging ropes about that high that she just tripped over and boom.
I do not remember.
No, of course you don't. But
No.
we do. We've got a video.
No video.
It erased everything once you hit the ground.
Hard reset.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys live up there, did your backyard parties, did all that shit, right? What age were we talking about?
I was barely in high school.
Oh, really? That fucking young?
Yeah. Actually, I was probably just like a freshman.
What the police do?
Well, they were cool. They just asked me to
They
go
were
home.
cool.
Yeah.
You used somebody
They're,
else's
they're
gun?
mountain cops, you know?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they were actually pretty cool. I mean, if you were cool, if you were a little punk, then yeah, you're gonna get rolled up, and they're gonna.
Were you drinking at that time?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
fucking
Drinking in
But
somebody
remember-
else's backyard
No,
that
I
you
wasn't
don't even
fucking,
know.
Actually, I was a late bloomer. I don't think I
But
had
you know what
sex
though?
till, like,
In all
sophomore
fairness,
year.
Paul played in a rock band, not a punk rock band. So
It was rough.
There's a big difference. See, when the cops get there, there's a different attitude.
That's true.
yeah,
The
that's
little
true.
punks are all
We
big
were-
I've
trouble.
been to his shows because I'm like a few years younger
Yeah.
than them, so I remember going to some of their shows and they were
There is some
they were
violence.
pretty
Was there a
cool.
difference between the cops' reactions? Well, tell us about your
They were
show.
still pretty cool, actually. Yeah,
sometimes.
I remember my buddy's dad. He rolled up there. He was a sheriff, and he was way cool.
That's why, because he was
But then there
somebody's
was-
dad.
But then there was some punk ass kid. You know, somebody had to mouth
Somebody
off.
always said
They always say something like, you know, burn some. Would you like some eggs or something? You know, something stupid. But
You mean donuts or
yeah,
anything?
you
What's
donuts,
up?
whatever.
Bacon.
Someone's got to. It won't be
Bacon
fucking
eggs.
right.
Hey,
Come on.
and you know what I
I mean,
gotta
it's a
say?
given. I understand it, but when the cops are being really cool.
No, that's why you can't have cool cops. You've got to piss them off. That's the whole fucking deal of
That's
it.
true. That's true.
It's like, oh, come on, guys, you need to leave. Okay, officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had a guy, a buddy of ours, had a half pipe in his backyard. So we're getting ready to play a show back there, and it was hardly a time where, when it got to the end of Godzilla, that we could even play 2 or 3 songs before the cops showed up, because the flyers would get around school, and then someone would give it to a teacher, they'd call the cops, and we'd be busted right away.
Oh, there's always that one person. You forgot the homework.
The
Here's a
Underground
flyer.
Railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one time there was a one where the cop just comes up and just says our singer's name and says, it got that where the cops knew us by name, and they said, come on guys, it's time, you know, you gotta shut it down, and someone yelled 187 on a motherfucking
Oh,
cop.
I was there.
Oh, no.
I remember that one.
Bad.
Honestly, was that Burnside?
And then what happened?
No, it was Dolman.
It was Dolman.
That one.
See, I love it when you remember the pictures. Oh, fuck, I was there when that fucker did
That
that.
one,
Dolman.
So was it quiet and then you yelled at?
yeah,
Oh, my
a few
God.
people got arrested.
That's what I'm talking about. Now we're getting into it.
He got arrested, right?
I think he got away. He always got
Dolman always
He always
gets
got
away.
away.
He gets away with it all.
I was always the one that would get caught, so I just stayed away from that bullshit.
He just played the guitar.
Yeah.
I'm just playing my guitar.
And I got the fuck out of Dodge, because you know
Yeah,
what?
that's what I
All the
was
cops
thinking.
would look at everybody, and for some reason they focus on me and say, fuck you, I'm gonna fuck with you. So I knew.
You have that face though. You have that fucking in your face. You look like a fucking criminal. You two, compared to these guys.
They all look pretty
I'll
innocent.
take it.
But, and there was a time when he had stepped out of the band, the first band, and we played up in Arrow Bear, which is like by Snow Valley Ski Resort.
That's narrow there.
And the Tree Punks were there. The Tree Punks are like Farber, Mikey
Mhm.
Farber, the dudes from
Mhm.
Badass. And we played it, you know, I think we played half a set, and the sheriff rolled up, and people started throwing rocks at the cop.
Oh, bad idea.
I was in the band at that time. I was saving that story.
Were you?
Yeah. No, keep going.
Okay. Sorry.
That's like the ultimate story
Yeah, so
of death and destruction. Not
So-
death. No death.
So there's about 50 of us mountain kids, and
Mountain kids, I like that. That's
Mountain
right.
and we're playing. We're about halfway through our set when the sheriff shows up, and they start doing the, you know, I smell bacon jokes, and then the rocks start throwing because the guy was being kind of a cock. The sheriff was. It wasn't, you know, a sheriff we knew, because we were up in an area that we didn't
Different
know.
area, yeah.
And so, you know, all of a sudden a rock goes through the window, and then another window, and then
The cop cars?
Yeah.
yeah, the sheriff's
Oh,
car.
that's bad.
It's really bad,
Yeah.
right? So, and then there's little Jay was like this little punker that you know, mohawk and all, and you know, a tree punk, and he decided, out of all the people there, like literally the smallest kid out of all of us, he decides to pick on him. He grabs little Jay, literally by his.
How old was he?
Oh, Jim was probably a couple years younger than us.
So what age would that have
Probably
been?
16, 17.
You
something
can't
like
take,
that.
yeah.
But this kid was, he's a smaller dude.
Yeah.
He's very small.
He was like 80
Was it-
pounds.
Was it Little J because he was 300 pounds?
Yeah, his nickname was Little J. It wasn't
ironic.
It wasn't ironic. It was, it was one of those nicknames. He's a small dude, and they picked him up literally by his collar and threw him in the back of the cop car. Like, so picked the most.
Just because he had a mohawk, really.
Right. Well, not just that, but
They made an example out of him.
Yeah.
but
totally.
the easiest guy to grab, right? The easiest guy to grab, the lightest guy to grab. He didn't pick on any of the other folks. In the skin, I mean, we were playing at a skinhead's house, a sharp, not a racist dude, but playing at a skinhead's house. So all those dudes were all burly. So you pick on the punk that's there, right? So they throw him in they throw Jay into the back of the thing, and then like it's on this steep driveway.
Everything's steep.
But yeah, it pulls out, hits our buddy Keith's truck, and then takes off. And we're still playing, right? And
They just took him?
They just took him, and he took off. Because
And they were so fucking worried about it, and they just carried on playing.
Yeah.
no,
The show
because
must go on.
Exactly.
well, I looked at it because I
Did
had
he even throw a rock?
no.
Oh.
Jay didn't throw a rock. Now,
He didn't have to throw a rock. He's got a fucking mohawk. It's
Yeah,
going down.
Yeah.
Homeboy, like the cop pulled out the
They
mace.
were throwing the rock.
The cop pulled out the mace. The cop pulled out the mace and was spraying people and like all misty and like we're like covering our
And you
eyes.
guys were kids.
Yeah, I was 18. So
They're not kids, Cat. Don't call them kids.
One was 16, that's a kid.
That's not a
we
kid.
were adults in the eyes of the law. Anyway, it was my truck that brought the gear there, right? And I was thinking to myself, I got all this gear here. We need to get the fuck out of here because this cop just came in here. We just pelted his car.
He's coming back with
He's
SWAT.
coming back, and they're coming back to bust some skulls. So literally, I think we stripped our stuff down. I think we loaded up in record time. We got the fuck out of there, and then we're heading down Highway 18, and there's Blau Ski Rental, right? There's this little rental turnout there in Running Springs, and there was 7 fucking sheriff's cars all lined up, getting ready to come and fucking raid.
Oh, no.
So we just barely got out from underneath there. And I don't even know what happened afterwards, but I'm sure
What
everybody.
happened to little Jay?
He's still, well, you'll be happy to hear that Little Jay's doing well. He's
Yeah.
more country than he is punk rock now.
Yeah,
And
that changed him.
he has a daughter that is healthy and happy.
Okay,
and she's
good.
like 13 now. So yeah, I just got.
Little Jay was okay,
Little
okay.
Jay is doing well.
Is he still little?
He grew
Yeah,
a little
he's-
bit. He grew a little bit.
But yeah, growing up there was, it was interesting.
Did you write a song about that?
It
should.
works.
You should.
Yeah.
That to me, that's
Yeah,
classic.
that's a great idea.
That's the fucking classic times.
Right.
And that's why I sometimes I'll just stop and go, you know what, fuck it. We've talked about music. We've talked about what you're doing, where you're going, whatever. But what about the real days that took us to where we are
Yeah, where we come
today, you know? And it's so fucking totally different
Yeah.
talking to Stiff Little Fingers, right? And then talking to the Addicts, and then talking to the local bands, and a band who's from up in the mountains against a band who's from Venice Beach. Everything's fucking different.
Yeah, we haven't had
Yeah.
many mountain band stories.
I think you're the first mountain band
Usually
ever.
we have beach and surf and skate stories.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, they're the, you know what? They're going to be at our show in January.
I
on Local
might
Cat Records.
say, Badass, the band Badass, have they been
Yes,
here?
they've been to Ryan's show. I love that band.
All right, so personally, most of those folks are from the
We know
mountains.
Helen and
Right,
and,
so the
and
Farbers, they grew up with us, and they're good people.
Tree Punks. I haven't
That's
heard
what,
that term.
yeah, that's their.
That was their little group.
I
So,
like that.
and they were into the crust, the
Mhm.
rudimentary P9, GBH, exploited. We were, but we still all hung out. We were still friends. And Clint Kephart, who was my neighbor, like,
Well, Helen was a lot of those people. A lot of those.
So the kids who grow.
Yes. Well, when you're in the area too, the mountain area and Hemet and all that.
Mm.
Yeah.
The high desert.
That's a nice way of putting it.
The very high desert.
The upper desert.
Good math.
And now I'm learning they've got goats as well. So there's always.
Cheap rent.
So what do the majority of people? your age, do they all? If you grow up on a mountain, do you leave the mountain and come down? Or how many people?
Lucky. If you can get off of there, I
If you're
guess.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're,
Some people don't have the need.
Don't stare at me like that.
if you're smart, yeah. There's still a few up there that I know that that's part of my territory with work, so that I run into every now and then. But for the most part, there's not in my opinion, a career that you can have up there that's enough to raise a family on.
Right, and then if you're working down here,
There's no opportunities up there. You're either a contractor, a realtor, or you work in the restaurant industry.
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, fuck that. Although it's nice to go up there and
You know,
beautiful.
it's not a bad
on
life.
someone's back.
People
Yeah.
forge out a nice life up there. You know.
Yeah.
It's not very.
But that's your area once you're there usually, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just a pain to get anywhere else.
San Diego is a fucking great place to live.
It is.
It's awesome. It's my second tour there.
Music seems pretty good up there too. Down there. I should
It's
say.
scattered, and fans are fickle, but you'll find that anywhere.
You guys were saying the Tower Bar that you played a lot of shows there.
We played about 20 times at the Tower Bar. It's where we cut our teeth, really.
Is that's not the place where the cop
Yeah,
car
we
came
were
from, is
actually
it?
talking on the break about, they were talking about bathrooms and they mentioned the Tower Bar bathroom. And I said, oh yeah, I was in the Tower Bar bathroom hovering when the cop car hit. Yeah.
It wasn't a
Hovering.
Hovering.
Hovering, I was holding the wall because I did not want to touch anything.
And then the
Yeah.
wall shook.
And then the wall shook. Yeah, there was a big noise, the wall shook, and yeah, I came running out my pants.
Instead of taking a pee, it took a shit.
No, it was I come out. There's a cop car light shining into the building.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting weekend for the wine and pussies. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, because then the next night, Steve of the Whining Pussies, his car got hit by a drunk driver, hit and run. The next night, at the next show. Yeah, we saw the whole. It was crazy. So yeah, cars were not bad though. But yeah,
You know, my cousin died right here.
No, I
in
didn't
a car
know that,
accident.
no.
Just a little another tragedy for you guys.
No, you're laughing at that,
I'm
Ken? You're laughing?
laughing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh.
I'm not
sorry.
joking. Straight up, like right here, right in front of you.
Really?
On the 10, yeah.
On the 10 or on the?
Remember when they were doing construction here years ago?
I don't remember. I wasn't here. Years ago.
When are they not doing?
I was just gonna say that's everything.
Yeah.
Part of that freeway was shut off, and like he was.
What do you
You
do?
know what? This is a downer. I don't even know why I brought it up.
No, yeah.
No,
It
now
was
that-
it was a downer, and when he said he had a big ass smile on his face.
That's
You
it.
That's
know,
why I
at-
laughed because he had a
At
smile.
the beginning of the show, it's serious, but at this stage of the show, with the amount of beers that's going on, it's like, wow, I'm by the fucking way.
His girlfriend
And I
was
was
driving.
laughing at everything.
His
so-
girlfriend was driving because he had too much to drink, and obviously she did too. And the freeway ended, and she didn't notice the freeway ended, and ran right into all the construction materials
shit.
and fucking killed. And then
Are
you
you
know,
serious?
yeah, you know how drivers do. You know, they're trying to avoid themselves personally from getting hurt, so she like
Might swerve him round into the fucking
right into
Wow, are you serious?
yeah.
got out.
Oh my gosh.
I'm okay.
Be responsible.
No drinking and driving.
So how you guys getting on?
Yeah, I'm not driving after this.
Uber. This guy.
San Diego.
This guy's a
I
professional.
cut him off.
Don't even jinx me like that.
Kyle says the same thing. He says, I'm a professional lady.
He works in the beer business.
Oh.
I worked in
That's
the beer
okay.
business for
Yeah, Vegas driving was bad. I think we did hit a construction thing in Vegas. Yeah, it was something like that. I don't remember.
Well, that's easy to do,
Yeah.
especially if you're not used to
Yeah.
islands.
Vegas can be very distracting. There's a lot going on there. Always like somebody like, what does that do in the middle of the road?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Kiosk
a
in the middle of the road? What the fuck is going on here?
We just mount
Why are
the wall.
they selling
Oh
neck
my
bracelets in the middle of
god.
the
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
highway?
Yep.
Vegas, baby. Vegas.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
You listen to chaoticradio.com, Beautiful Disaster, Dutchie, the legendary Punk DJ, myself, Cat Monroe, Kyle back there in sound, Bossfight live.
I should play
in
more
studio.
music.
You should play more music.
Did I play Get It Right?
No,
Nope.
you can play Get It Right. That's good.
Can I play that?
Please do.
Any stories behind it?
Yeah. Go
Well,
ahead.
I can tell you that after Godzilla, Dave and I had another band, and
What was it called?
we didn't really have a name for it, but
Well, it didn't last very long then.
nah,
Like
it
a
was
week.
in Huntington Beach, where it was based, and I wrote this song driving home. I'd stayed a little too late with the boys that night, and my ex-wife was really disappointed with me, and so I was smoking cigarettes and drinking caffeine on the way home, and wrote the lyrics down as I was driving home.
You were drinking, driving, and writing.
So I was drinking
He was a
Mountain Dew.
professional,
I
okay,
was drinking Mountain Dew.
professional.
That was before they had energy drinks. So I was drinking Mountain Dew, smoking cigarettes, trying to stay awake, and I wrote the lyrics on my steering wheel as I was driving.
I want to know more about this afterwards.
Yep.
I want to know what ones you got on.
Fun.
H.H. Holmes, I know who that is.
Yeah, oh yeah. I can't wait for that movie.
Tap.
Yes. Here's one.
It's the only movie I watched there.
What's that?
The whole Red Down lyrics
That should have been another verse of me writing lyrics on the steering wheel.
Right? Grab the lyrics on, driving. Just so you realize you have voice program on that thing.
It wasn't that back then. You're talking about how you think any of us had cell phones back then.
You mean you didn't have a voice recorder on your cell phone? Seems very hazardous. Come on!
What haven't we played off of this that we can play? You,
Number 2.
no, we played number 2. We played 1 and 2 at the beginning.
Oh, 5. Definitely need to pick 5.
Number 5.
Oh, we'll play
Number
that
7. Number 11.
What's good to follow this? 5?
Yeah.
Shall
Yeah, that's not how we do it on the set.
We took a bunch of, civil defense from World War II, civil defense messages.
we? Uh-huh. Oh, so it starts with a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I'll let him know.
Here's some slide. We're gonna slide in there. This is after this song is where we kind of do the slide interlude thing. We go into a whole other thing right there.
Dave Klein, David North. This is a beautiful disaster. KMFradio.com.
Fortunately, there are means of protecting our trail. Means so effective, civil defense officials believe everyone can survive war.
There you go.
I like this one.
There you go.
What are we putting for this? Sorry, my 12-year-old messaging me this time. What are we putting for this section?
Get it right.
Get it right. Okay. The songs. My son's messaging me, so.
Fucking good music, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fucking good music.
dude, we put our heart and soul into all everything. It's like, please.
Our the engineer we had, like, it would have came out like this without the engineer.
No.
Because
It makes a difference.
he would tell Davey or me, either one of us, he's like, no, you're playing that part wrong. And we'd be like, what? He's like, no, that note you're hitting or that chord you're hitting, that's not right.
You
Try a
reminded
different
me of friends of ours who we were going to introduce at the Whiskey in a couple of weeks. The band called the Bastards.
Oh, we
one.
know. We
Yeah,
played with the
those
Bastards.
guys-
Yeah.
Those guys are cool.
Ray
Right.
Hetson did their
Yeah.
Right, and that's
They
just
sang
what I
with
was
them
just
together.
going to say. So they recorded that whole album, right, with someone else. And they sent me their tracks and we started playing them. And then one day he fucking called me and he said, don't fucking play anymore. We're ditching that whole album and starting again with Greg Hetson. And what a fucking... I still got the original tracks. There's probably not many two people. I've got not all the originals, but I think 4 of the original tracks against 4 of them that were done with Greg. What a fucking difference. Oh,
Dude, that guy is why I play guitar.
Greg Hetson. We should talk about that. I was going to mention it because, first of all, I want to give a quick plug to the Bastards for that show, and I think
Yeah,
they're
what's
playing
the
with the
date?
Vibrators. I think it's October 22nd.
I
But
think it is.
go into their Facebook page and double check.
Oh, we need to plug the show on Friday.
Yours.
Yeah, plug as many shows as you want.
Because Mikey Brennan is listening just to make sure we plug the show. with
I think
the,
he told me to, and I think I forgot.
with the
So, okay.
Svetlanas and barbed wire dolls.
Yeah.
How much is the cover on that one?
I think it's
10 pre-sale, 15 at the door.
Can I ask you guys getting paid?
Yeah, he'll give some cash. We don't know how much. He always pays us. He usually enough to get Paul back home to Lake Arrowhead.
That's like $300.
Gas is expensive these days.
Time is money.
All right, I'll put the mics on, right? Okay, greatarrow.com.
I was fumbling with my headphones.
Yeah, stop fumbling.
Yeah,
Carl
fumbling.
told me you don't do that very often.
Ah, that was a shelter.
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 Collect shows.
She says. Shelter by Bossfight. And you guys have shows coming up, right? Svetlana's and Barbed Wire Dolls at Carmen Bar.
Yes, on Friday. This Friday.
Twisted Soul Entertainment, give them a shout out.
Yeah, woohoo! Mikey Brennan.
I love playing the Carmen Bar. It's a great place to play. It's small, but you can get a lot of people in there. I know it's an oxymoron right there, but you know,
Their systems get.
It's not that small. It has what's roomy.
yeah.
It's
But
roomy. There's different areas of
stage is in a great place. It's a great setup. It's good sound. Always good fucking sound down there. You know, so. But I was just saying, while we were playing that, I said, you know, this is fucking great music, and he said you couldn't do it without the producer, director,
Engineer, yeah.
All of those, though, really, but
You know?
definitely the engineer.
But so the engineer, and I was saying, I want to give a shout out. I'm pretty sure the show is the 22nd.
It is, I believe.
Right, for the Bastards playing at
Well,
the
they have a
Whiskey.
couple shows, but yeah, that one's the
And
22nd.
I think, I could be wrong, is it? It's not the Vibrators they're playing with, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so me and Kat are going to be lucky enough to be down there with the band. And,
For the second time, third time me, but second time
Yeah.
together. First time I freaked out.
to jump up on stage with them and introduce them,
Yeah.
and hang out and have a few beers and have a fun night out
That's
down,
gonna be
down in
fun.
Hollywood. There's
Yeah.
nothing like going to fucking Hollywood
I
for a
love
night.
it. I was
out.
there this weekend, and I used to hang out there when I was younger, and I really missed it. Even though I gotta say, the Rainbow is not the same as it was when I was younger.
But
Changed
I,
the
you know,
last
when we got to know Albert Simpson and the Bastards and his brother Daz and everything that they were doing,
They're awesome.
they were just recording that album, and he sent me tracks and we played them, and then all of a sudden he went, do not fucking play anymore. We're scrapping that and we're redoing the album with Greg Hetson. And what a fucking great sound it is. And I'd heard the tracks, but it wasn't until they gave me
There's
the
a big
CD
difference,
and I
yeah.
popped it in a real sound system, and I go, fuck, that
Mm-hmm.
sounds fucking good. I mean, forget what punk music, because punk music back in the day, that very few bands got lucky enough to have quality recordings, you know. And some of the recordings now, they sound like shit. Great fucking songs, would not change
Oh yeah.
any part of it. But now bands are able to play with quality, right?
And the Bastards still have the old school punk sound, but
Oh,
with
yeah.
the good quality.
Right.
I mean, you said straight away, Gilly, that the only reason you play was it you or you did? That said, it was you said the only reason I picked up a guitar was a Greg Hudson.
Well, especially with punk rock. You know, the SG. I mean, my first real electric guitar was an SG because of Greg Hudson. Like, to me, you know, every punk has their first record that turned them on to punk. Suffer was mine, and you know, all of you know, crust punks who exploited GBH, all you English fucks. You can say,
We're different.
You know,
Yeah, we're stuck up snob punks.
and that's okay. But for me, it was Suffer, and just because, and just hearing the guitars and how does it make that sound, and how do they do that? Because, and I want to do that, and listening to that record, and he basically taught me how to play punk rock guitar. Ray Hudson did, without knowing it. You know? And
Huge influence.
The
influence.
The influence in my, you know.
I love the fact, really. I mean, and I say, you know, without you guys sitting in front of us, we have no show. Simple as that.
True.
And it doesn't matter who's sitting in front of us. You're the one sitting in the chair that Greg sat in when he came on the show, right? And the fact that I know Greg through what we do,
He's a nice
and
guy.
then have someone sitting in front of me saying that, and I can relate to who Greg is. To me, that's what makes all of this
Yeah.
worthwhile. To meet a band who sounds as fucking great as
We
you
are
do
very
with what you
fortunate.
do, and then you go, yeah, that's the reason I play guitar.
And this was 1990.
But wow, that late. Well, you're young.
I know you're way more punk than me, Dutchie.
It's not, I know I am, but it's not a punk thing. That's an age thing, fucking. Don't pick on me for being old. Or a punk, a British punk snob.
Our buddies in Channel 3, I do the same thing to them.
It's like when you said, yeah,
I love Channel 3.
Yeah, we did this punk in the 80s. I'm like, 70s.
Yeah.
But no, it was. I mean, yeah, I did. It's one of the things that, you know, people in life go, I wish I'd have grown up in that fucking time or that time. You know what, fucker? I got lucky. I was 14 in 77 when punk hit London, and was lucky enough to be a part of the original, the explosion. In 75 there was no punk. In 77 now there's punk. The people in the world had never heard of, a new music. And
Well, maybe in England,
you know,
but the MC5 were alive and well in New York.
right, which is why it started in London. It didn't start. No. And I'll argue you know, my history of punk is along those lines. To me, the city where punk started was Detroit. That's where it started. Velvet
we have
Underground,
that all the
MC5,
time, yeah.
and it moved to New York, and McLaren got involved, but it exploded in London, right? Through
And you were there.
Through McLaren's influence with MC5, the New York Dolls.
I was 5.
And then he manufactured that sound with Plastic People and created the Pistols.
Right.
And then around that, you got the Bromley Contingent and Susie and the Banshees and 999 and Billy Idol and Generation X and all that, and boom, there was this explosion that then rebounded straight back into the States, where it was already here. But you know, it's what made it public was the UK punk scene.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, and
It gilded
again,
it. It gilded
yeah.
it and got it out there.
But and I'll go back to the original. What I was saying, yeah, I got lucky enough to be a part of that, and that is like,
That is lucky, though,
That's
Dutchie.
amazing.
That is
Yeah.
lucky.
But see, I feel lucky to have come up in the scene that I came up in.
Yeah, we all, and
You
we
know,
should, yeah.
And I always was ridiculed by the first generation punks because, you know, we were always the poser kids, right? But
Now you mention it.
you know, you know, but
Talking of poses.
I think we had the advantage of the
You're
whole-
saying we as in we're old, right?
we, on this side of the table.
Okay,
We had
Hey!
Okay, Kat, come over here.
Get on the American
But
side.
I think I have a feeling I might be older than them, too, so it's all good.
we had the advantage of the old school and the new school. So I believe that's kind of where our sound came from. When I first picked up a guitar, it was because Exploited and GBH. GBH is still one of my all-time favorite
So we've
bands.
had Ross from GBH in here,
And the new album they put out,
Yeah.
the song they have,
Good
Momentum,
stuff.
on the radio, that song's pretty damn good.
The one that just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the whole album.
I haven't heard
but
that yet, and
that song is really
too. I
good.
did hear that song. It's a good song.
It sounds like
Old school stuff, yeah.
friggin' early 80s
Mhm.
GBH.
Well, that's, you know what, Ross was in there 6
Authentic,
months ago,
authentic
right?
punk rock.
And he sat there and he goes,
Authentic
I'll tell you
crust.
now, this is the best album we've put out in 30 years. It sounds the same as we put out, but different. But the same, just like you said.
But it has that quality, the recording
Authentic
quality
punk rock,
that they
yeah.
never
that
were
you never
able
got
to,
back in the day.
You know, to roundabout at the conversation.
It's
where it
like
started.
cleaned up. That's
Very-
good,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's clear. It's
It's very accessible nowadays, that quality.
yeah. It's I mean it's something that they never had access to.
I mean, you listen to the early Angelic Upstarts recordings, and it sounds like it was done on a fucking cell phone. Actually, the cell phone recordings
And
are
that's
better.
cool.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
like
really
on
cool.
my Thursday show, Adonis. We have a segment on my Thursday show. Look at Cat Dragon. It's Adonis does punk rock from like early. I call it archaeology because he goes and digs up bands from like the late 70s, early 80s that were around maybe 6 months, and we play them, and the quality is like that. It's the authentic old punk rock sound. But it's bands that aren't even around anymore.
Well, I have to say, this is just my snobby musician. You know, I have a hard time listening to Punk's Not Dead because they didn't learn how to fucking tune their goddamn fucking.
That's punk rock though.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's,
It is.
It's a
punk rock.
mind. It's to you it is. Remember, you define it that way. I define it a different way. And my definition, I cannot listen to Punk's Not Dead because the bass is tuned about a half a step too sharp through the whole goddamn.
Well, that's
fucking
like
bass.
Sid Vicious Sex
You know what
Pistols.
it's like?
Bass.
No, for me, it's like water torture, right? So
That's what's beautiful is
I think
they're-
that's what
I love that.
that's what's beautiful. Is
Chinese
their
water
message
and
still
that's
got
why
across.
GBH will always be
Okay,
better
no
than
matter
the
how
Sweat
the fuck
because
they
at
were
least
tuned.
their guitars were tuned. You know, to me,
But punk
Yeah.
rock isn't tuned. There's no tuning
I
in
think
punk
it's
rock.
all. It doesn't matter. It's all how you. If you can get your message across to the people, to the fans, if you can affect them, you don't even have to fucking be in tune.
Yeah, see, they affected you
can
because they
do-
weren't
It
tuned.
just doesn't matter.
but you know what? The Massacre,
I mean,
the
it-
Massacre is a
I
great
mean,
fucking
it does
record.
matter, but you know.
I love what you're saying because when when I played in my first band, I was playing guitar, not bass, right? And I couldn't quite reach around the fucking strings, right? And I was as bad as you could possibly get. Only 2 fucking fingers touch strings enough to depress them, and the other ones were just, it was a noise. It was fucking horrible, right? But that's how it started. And as it progressed, like now, when I play with my band, if my guitar is just a fucking touch, my guitarist looks at me and goes, you know, and we'll stop and he'll go, what the fuck? And I go, oh, come on, it's punk. He's like, no, it's not.
That's right.
It's not anymore.
It's out
You've
of-
got to be in tune.
No, you're right. It's out of tune punk. It's punk. But it's out of tune.
But that's punk. Punkers have to be in tune.
It changed, you're right. You can't play out of tune. They wouldn't play out of tune. No one would anymore. Maybe you wouldn't stop a song because of it, but you would
It's the
change up.
evolution of the air.
Well, I think that
Everybody
they,
nowadays.
But it took half an hour to tune the guitars before. Now you just put that fucking
Yeah, now you have a little
electronic thing
digital
on
thing.
the end, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're still tuned.
What does that mean?
yeah, we just tune the whole guitar down. We don't just do the top string.
Everything.
Yeah, so it's a little darker sounding, and it's not as high.
That's a whole other thing.
You know,
They use an alternate tune.
Yeah, we're done. We're fucking done
So
already.
many
See, the second hour
spirits.
always goes so fast.
It was, we didn't play every song. There's a one
No,
song
we
that you
didn't.
said it was number Devil You Know, right?
that last shot actually.
The last we usually play the last song on in our set is Last Shot. So let's
And we haven't played it yet, right?
Nope. Let's take it out with that one.
Category.com, beautiful disaster, that's either Frank, DJ, myself, can't remember. Yeah, usually I'm good at this. Kyle back there and Sam. What do you call it? Baba Booey?
Baba Booey right
Yeah,
there.
we've had Bossfight live in studio, and this is last.
You know what? Before they go, I want to thank.
Yeah,
I wanna
great
guys,
band.
Thank you for coming in.
You guys are very smart. I like
I'm
that.
gonna watch you more than any other band that's walked in and walked out of my studio.
Yeah, because we're curious about what's going to happen.
Because
I
Right?
say that
Yeah.
to everybody.
I don't say to
No,
anyone.
no,
Never
this
said
is our
that.
first time.
Because no
First
one's
time.
giving a fuck whether they go out of here and
What? I'm the silent creeper. Yes, I am.
yeah.
I am the
Oh, I know.
silent creeper.
I was telling these guys, I fucking bump into guys in the bar who were on your show, and I don't remember. They said, this is the name of our band. I go, I've never heard of you.
No, see, like I take notes for. a reason.
Remember this Friday, Carmen Bar, Barbara Dolls, and Svetlanas.
Yes, that's going to be a great show. Great show.
Again, gentlemen, yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Thank you very much.
You get any new
Appreciate
music? Send it to me. We will play it on the station
Sweet.
any fucking time.
Yeah, you guys aren't signed, right?
No.
So I can play on my Thursday DIY
Yeah.
unsigned band show.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what Cat
as much
dragged
as
it
you
for.
want.
6,
We're,
yeah.
we're open. We're open to working with people. So if you hear us out there, yeah, hit us up, man.
Thank you
Or
so much,
woman.
Sarah.
Or
There we go, yeah.
We don't
Catch
care.
us outside.
And your wife, Amy, is right all the time. Amy is right all the time. Remember that.
I'll let her go.
That's
That's
right.
a buzz.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That was fun.
It's always fun to drink beers and talk to good people.
Exactly, yeah. Talk some good shit, some bad shit, some
Yeah.
fun shit, some real shit.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys
Yeah.
came in.
Thank you for having us.
That was- I was somewhere and Mike's like, I hear you have my boys coming in.
Yeah, you
I-
were at the doll house.
Yeah, I've known that guy for a long time.
Who?
Brennan.